Hi, everyone. My name is Adam Green with Stunio. Today, I'm talking with someone who's not just my partner in building Stunio. She's an operational juggernaut, someone who is really the force behind keeping this train moving. Not just the company, but also me. It's been a blessing to have her right next to me, side by side. She is really sort of the train behind how Stunio works and has been built over the last year now. So super excited that she's with us today. Brief little intro about Amanda, and then I'll give it over to her. We met about a year ago now, June of 2024-ish or July, and at a CEO roundtable for women CEOs in Lansing. And I was presenting Stunio and our big vision for the company. And here this lady comes up to me afterwards and super bubbly. She's got these gingerbread people tattoos on her arm. I'm like, who is this lady? And boy, to think now that was over a year ago, and to see where we've come. And she helped us. She was one of our first investors. She helped us get the rest of the investment we needed for the company, and now has helped set up our office, our team, and really a lot of the processes behind how Stunio works. So it's just awesome to have Amanda here today, and thanks for joining the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
You know, I love to do video.
She's such a video, but video. Look, she's gonna do great, and she's gonna be like, oh, I don't like video, but she's gonna do great. Well, I don't give an intro if you'd like, or start us off through your entrepreneurial journey. You've went through years of experience that I glean from every day, and people would be interested in learning more.
Yeah. So what drew me to Stunio was my experience as a business owner. So I was the third generation owner of Hey Ho Asphalt. And for the last 10 years of that, I was trying to figure out how to get the next generation of workers into the skilled trades. And I could not figure it out. I tried everything. I was doing everything people were telling me. I was posting where people were telling me to post, all this kind of stuff. And I couldn't figure out. And I just decided that's not going to be my rodeo. I did it for 25 years, and I wanted to move on to something else. I had been thinking about selling Hey Ho Asphalts. I was in the process of it. I met you. You told me about Stunio. I walked up to you afterwards, and I'm like, are you taking investors? Because this sounds phenomenal. Yep. And you were.
Yeah, it definitely was. Yeah.
And so, we talked a bit, and I told Adam, I go, I'm curious if I had met you 5 years earlier, like if Stunio had been a thing 5 years earlier, I don't know that I would have sold Hey Ho Asphalt, because you would have solved that problem of how do I get Gen Z into the skilled trades for me.
She would have been a client,
I would have been a client.
Maybe an investor still, but definitely not working, because
right.
You probably still would have had Hey Ho Asphalt.
Yep. But that's my passion. My passion is helping entrepreneurs, helping small businesses to succeed and thrive. And I feel like Stunio can solve the biggest pain point that every business is facing right now, which is hiring. Whether it's hiring Gen Z, whether it's managing the people that you already have, whether it's navigating this like totally different world of AI and what's real and what's fake, and how do I even know what information to look to? Yeah. Like, that's what Stunio does, is it cuts out all of that like noise and clutter and just said, here's this very nice package that can help you not only hire college students, but do it faster and cheaper and easier, and like get that next generation into the workforce. And so I'm like, sign me up. How do I help bring this to market?
Yeah. It was, well, I remember too, because I forgot, actually, we've done so much now in the past year. I forgot that for a couple months, you were like semi-business coaching for a little bit of time. And it was like really good, because I'm a new business owner. You're an experienced business owner. And where did we meet up? We met up at like some restaurant one time, like, is it Durand? I don't know where we were.
Yeah.
It was over the river. I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, I remember all the coaching that you were giving me too. And what was the biggest thing you were teaching me at the time about like routines?
I don't know. What was the biggest?
The morning routines, the evening routines.
Oh, yes. Like so being a business owner is stressful, right? Like super stressful. We were just talking about that yesterday. Yeah. Like you literally can't understand the weight that a business owner has on them unless you go through it yourself.
Right.
And so part of that is establishing routines to take care of yourself, because there's so much pressure put on you. You have to take care of your mind and your body in order to be able to thrive.
Yep.
So one of my women CEO friends, she races race cars, and she likens it to, I need that race car to be in tip top shape every time I go on that track.
Yep.
And so she's like, for me as a business owner, my body and mind are my race car. I need them to be in tip top shape. So everything I do off the track is about making sure that when I go back on the track, my mind is clear, my body is strong.
Makes a lot of sense. I mean, yeah, because I think a lot of people, and especially me, like as I'm working so hard, you kind of think like counterintuitively with those things where it's like, I'm going to eat cheap fast food.
Yep.
You know, I'm going to put in a hot pocket. I'm going to do chicken nuggets. Like,
Yep.
you know, last night, I think, well, I'm not preaching the good word here, but I think last night we had taquitos, you know,
Yep,
just
yep.
like it was quick, fast, you know, because we're working so much. But luckily I still do the other things that I think I'm trying to take care of my body. And you had taught me that those morning and evening routines were so important because I think for me, I was telling you that I wasn't sleeping well. Like all I was doing was thinking about the company. And at that period of time, like I hadn't paid myself in a while, like almost over a year. And it was really interesting because like as I was going through that, the continual stress of we're trying to fundraise, we're trying to get this company going. It was like I needed more of myself to like continue to go out there every day and do it.
Exactly.
But I wasn't fueling myself because I wasn't doing the things that took care of myself, and I was stressing too much. I was overthinking things, and I couldn't sleep. And so I think that was the big thing where you were like, you literally need a routine to, you know, change the oil, you know, put down the track bar a little bit, you know, like clean the hood, and it really helped me, especially as we were finishing out the fundraise, to begin to just like, well, one, turn off my phone. You know, that was a big part of it, you know, and just get in bed and do those things that were needed to actually get a good night's rest. So it's like, that was huge.
Well, and one thing that I've noticed too, when you're an entrepreneur and then you start to have employees as well, you start to make sure that they're doing everything that's healthy for them. And for me, I'll put so much into helping my employees, you know, lead a balanced life. Like, hey, let's have great production while we're here. Let's have it be a great work environment. You know, let's be supportive. And are you getting enough time off? You know, how are you sleeping? All this kind of stuff. And I will let myself completely slide. And you're a new dad, right? It's going to be like even more. You have your Stunio baby. Excuse me, that's 3 years old. You have Abe, who's 2 months old.
Right.
Like you have more people depending on you. And that's why it's like more important than ever that we set aside that time for us to like process and heal and let our body do its job and sleep. Literally let your brain process the stuff out of your body that it needs to get. This went in a direction I totally was not expecting. Like
no, it's perfect because like I mean that was a lot of like the that was our intro to us establishing a relationship. So I think that's important because like it wasn't just a hey I'm fully interested in your company and making money off of you, Adam, and like surely that's part of it, but like also at the very beginning it was like no, I'm actually interested in you as a person to help me like actually make it. And so I've always thought that is like super impactful because you know you just weren't looking at behind me to you know where's the company at. It was like okay, Adam at that stage at that time was the company, like that was it. And so maybe it was one and the same, but like you helped me get through a lot of that period of my time in my life where I was physically struggling, mentally struggling. Like it was hard some days. I actually told you that day I drove to the CEO event for the women's CEO event, and it was raining. My car is 2011 GMC, really good car. And but boy, I've driven the wheels off that thing, and sure enough, the windshield wiper had broke, and you knew of that too because it broke again later on. But like it broke that day as it's going so fast because it's raining so hard, and I was just so upset. And I'm like mentally I'm thinking, what am I doing? Like I'm literally like I'm pretty sure at one point I stuck my head or I at least opened the window so I can kind of see because it wasn't the right one. It was the left one right in front of your face. Wasn't clearing the water. I'm like, I got to make it to this dang meeting. And I was physically like emotionally upset because I was just thinking to myself, like at that time I wasn't getting any traction with investors. Like, it was just me at the time. I was kind of fundraising on my own. We had some, commitments from other investors. If, you know, it's like a commitment, if you raise this amount of money, then we'll give you money.
Yep.
That didn't help me. You know, I needed like somebody to like take a bet and be like,
here's a check.
Here's a check. Like, give me a check. Like, write that check.
Here's a check.
And anyways, like, but yeah, like talking about like that mental struggle I went through during that time in my life, like I almost didn't even show up to the meeting because it was raining so bad and I couldn't even see out the dang window. I remember just getting there and I was like, I remember I didn't want to look like too bad, like with like all the women were starting to get out of their cars and everything, and like I pulled in and my car's squeaky, it's weird, you know, and then literally like the windshield is like it like, you know, it's not just broken, it's literally like hanging off the side of the car right next to like the rear view mirror, and so it just totally looks funky. And I'm like, I remember pulling in and I immediately like got out of the car and like had to like push it down and get it off the thing, and I'm like, I just don't want to look like a dope. You know, and probably somebody saw it, you know, I'm glad you didn't.
I didn't.
You know, so, and then I got in there and luckily it's just, you know, and you asked me some tough questions too, like during the meeting, which have sort of inspired, you know, one of our future groups in the company, which talks about payment and compliance, like the seamless payment process and compliance that Stunio helps businesses to have. But yeah, do you remember what you'd asked me? Because that was like a big thing that we did not have. And you were like, I ain't going to use this if not for this.
I do. I remember me and Kelly Preston from Capital Steel and Wire.
Shout out, Kelly.
Shout out to Kelly. We both asked about workers' comp.
Yeah.
Because I had a construction company and Kelly works in manufacturing.
Yep.
And we both said, like, no, people get injured with the type of work we do. Like, even if everything's 100% safe,
right,
something is going to happen at some point. It will happen. Like, it's just, and you had said, no, we don't have workers' comp. We don't need it, you know, and you're like, the lawyers have told us that and all this kind of stuff. And we're like, okay, well, it's a great idea, but if you don't have workers' comp, it's not for me.
Yep.
And I remember you being like, oh, you know, and like, okay, you know, I understand that, but the lawyers have said, and that's, I think one of the things that impressed me the most is your ability to like actually hear what small business owners and hirers are telling you. You're not just listening, but you actually hear what they say and say, if I heard that from more than one person, it's a problem for more than one person.
Yeah.
And if I heard it from 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, it's probably a problem for everybody.
Yeah. I remember for years, like as we started the company, we had gone through a couple different brokerages and like anything to like try to get these weird insurances. And I was always under the impression that people were trying to upsell me into like, I got this professional liability coverage when it didn't even matter at the current stage we were at. Like, it was before I even had an app, and it was like, it was crazy. And then there's a couple other stages of, you know, the general liability. Then people would bring up workers' comp every once in a while. And then, you know, some people would say, well, no, they're 1099s. Like you can't have workers' comp, or it doesn't matter. Like, you know, or you're never going to run into a situation like that, whatever it may be. We went through so many different iterations of insurance that like, I think that's why I was at that point, even I was like, you know, no, like, yeah, the lawyers, they for sure got it. Like they for sure know what they're talking about. But I think it was good too that I heard back to back you and Kelly, established women CEOs in Lansing who loved what we were doing.
Yep.
Both of you said it, but we're like, but without this protection, it's like the convenience of hiring a student or anything with it is outweighed by the fact that if somebody gets injured, you're toast. Like,
yeah, like
you know.
I could lose if I hired a college student through Stunio and there wasn't workers' comp. You know, I work in a field where someone can die. Someone get run over by a piece of machinery. You know, they just had 2 workers that died on a highway, you know, incident this week. And not my company, but you know.
Right.
And so like people lose their lives and then they lose their businesses. And I'm like, as a small business owner, as someone who advocates for small businesses, that's the kind of thing that I want to help educate you about. Is like, you have that student perspective, right? Like you lived that student life of, hey, I need a flexible schedule. I got to have a job. I got to have money. I have to pay my bills. Right. Like you bring that perspective to Stunio, and then I bring the business owner, the hirer perspective. And that's what I love about our relationship, is that we're both able to bring those together. And then we both have compassion, and we just want to make the world a better place for everybody. It sounds so cliche, but it's like legitimately true for both of us. So I tell people all the time, I'm like, Stunio is the next Uber. Like Stunio is the next Facebook. Like this is going to be the next massive transformation for hiring. And yes, that's exciting, and yes, it's sexy, and yes, it's cool to be a part of that, and yes, hopefully I'll make a lot of money off of this. But really, we are going to transform the lives of every college student and every person that has to do hiring, whether they're a business owner or someone that works in a massive corporation, they're a hiring director.
Right.
Like, we're going to make the world a better place by connecting people.
Yep.
And that's what Stunio is all about. It's like that connection. It's the bridge. It's the bridge that connects groups together.
Yeah. Well, I like what you said too about the aspect of you having that business owner's perspective and me having the student perspective. Because like I feel like for a lot of I started this during law school, so as a student, and I had that student perspective of, I'm this visionary and I got all these ideas, I'm going to go implement and make things. And, it's gone through a lot of trials. And like, I feel like the one piece that a lot of student entrepreneurs miss out on is, well, one, not having the connectivity to find people like you but then to even have the buy-in from somebody like you to then help them get to that next level. Like, I could have been stuck working in my home office, trying to raise money for years, or just working on the company as myself, or having a couple buddies or interns, we're just kind of goofing around thinking we're building something. But unless you have a lot of that like administrative prowess, the structure, you've done it before. Like, when we first met, like you had me over to the office and, you had to leave to go do like taxes or something on your big computer and you're like typing away. And I'm like, gosh, like, it's like, those are the things that I had never even really done, like, to that extent. Like you were talking about all the books and how you got to like cross-reference the books versus the pay stubs versus this and that. I'm like, what are you even talking about? Like, this is crazy. And, because I'm thinking of, we're building an app, we're building the future, we'll build, but the foundation of like the administrative and, sometimes bureaucratic pieces of the company, the processes, boy, like that's something that you've like injected in this company, just like with a huge syringe, just like, and it just like, it's so powerful. Because I think, again, that's a huge piece that a lot of entrepreneurs miss out on.
I wholeheartedly agree. And I've never been in the startup, like this kind of startup world before.
Yeah.
This is
welcome.
Yeah. Welcome to
Here
the
we
show.
Are. Yeah.
Since I've joined this world of tech startups, I've educated myself a lot more on what do other tech startups do? What have they done? What's worked? What hasn't? What are pain points? Like, what are the current stories?
Right.
I am, as a seasoned business owner, I am flabbergasted at how quickly people will throw money at an idea, and it's just an idea.
Yeah.
And I realize that's what a lot of tech is.
Yep.
It's the idea, and then they'll build it.
Yep.
As someone who literally would build roads and driveways.
Right. It's much different.
I'm like, you have an idea, you have no financials, you have no legal setup, you have no staff, and I'm just like, it blows my mind, and I can see why so many startups fail.
Yeah.
Because a great idea, it doesn't get you past like 10%.
Yeah.
Like the next 90% is like actual implementation and reinventing and staffing and failing and coming back from the fail and like setting yourself up that if something terrible happens, we have the resources to be able to get past that.
Yeah. Well, it's really interesting you say that, because like a lot of the criticism we've had in the past and over time is that, especially once we started Uniservices, which was, the first version of Stunio, basically I got a lot of feedback from people saying like, there's already things like that, it's the dime a dozen odd job student company that exists, it's a job board, like, what are you reinventing really? It's not innovative, it's not, anything special. And a lot of and I've seen a ton. I've seen, even in the time that we've existed, other companies who've claimed to do something like us start and then fold, start and fold in different regions across the country. People would send me, hey, have you seen this company? And I'm like, no. And then you go back a couple months later, and because I'd track everybody to make sure, like, I want to be aware of some of these people, they're gone. Like, websites folded, like, it's gone. And so I think that goes down to actually June Wong, one of our investors and advisors to the company. He had this quote he gave me a couple of years ago, which is, ideas are cheap, execution is everything. And I literally printed it on a banner and I still have it, which is, sort of the main piece of this, which is, a lot of people will have very similar ideas. They're going to come at problems maybe the same way, because my problem of me selling my plasma twice a week is not inherently a unique, Atom experience. A lot of students have gone through that, and a lot of them are like, oh, we can pick up a shovel, and help their local friend. But I think what is the next stage, and really now where we're kind of digging our own moat with that shovel, is that administrative piece of, now we have the foundational administrative, legal, financial, accounting, operational processes that are now allowing us to have relationships with, I'm not going to name the types of people we're talking to at the moment, but like the types of large enterprises that I would have laughed in your face if you had told me last year that we're talking to, these big, groups of, businesses, where I was trying to, hack it together to work for a couple small businesses, and again, I think a lot of that comes down to having an Amanda, an operational juggernaut, I keep saying, to really infuse that into the company so that I can do what I do best, which is I'm going to come up with ideas, we're going to implement them, but at the same time, I don't have to worry about taxes, or I don't have to worry about, some of the other stuff. So yeah, huge thank you, because,
it's fun.
Yeah.
I tell you every day, I actually love what I do. It had been a long road of what I've been doing. I've been doing the same thing for 25 years at Hey Ho Asphalt, and I enjoyed it. And I had lots of good challenges and successes. But I'm like, winning awards, like, it's great, but like, am I feeling like challenged every single day?
Yeah.
I was not. I did it for 25 years.
Yeah.
Like, my challenge was the same thing. It was, how do I hire people? How do I hire people? How do I hire people? How do I hire people?
Right.
Like, people don't want to work outside and shovel asphalt.
Yeah, right.
I say that.
Under that structure, yeah.
Yes, under that structure.
Right, that's sort of traditional hiring structure.
Yep.
Then, like you said, now in this environment, you're pushing yourself, you're challenging yourself. Like, there's been a lot of stuff. Where have you found like the most growth, like personally, for like something that you've learned, or something that you're just like, look, the old Amanda, would be like fighting you, because like, how dare you do this now? Because like, those worlds are so much different, and that's like that mindset shift of, a physical, profitable business, versus a tech startup who are traditionally not profitable for some time, given their high spend, and you got to consistently and constantly iterate to find product market fit, to get those first partners, and just such a different world. And so, where have you found like the most, like, what's been your biggest learning from that?
So it's actually funny. I just had a bit of an epiphany. So anybody who knows me, I have a potty mouth.
No.
Yes. And I have a tendency to drop a certain F word.
Oh.
Well,
figs.
Figs. Yes, figs.
Nice.
And I just realized that the greatest lesson that I have learned in like this last year has been 2 F words. Fail fast.
I was like, where is this going? What word is she about to say?
It's still PG.
Beep.
No, fail fast. Because as someone who for years has run a traditional business where we're producing a product, we have expensive machinery, $300,000 pavers, and it's traditional, and it's construction, and the workers are generally older and like very set. Like, fail fast, what the heck is that?
Right.
And when you
can't fail fast a road. You
can't.
No.
I mean, if you fail it, you got to tear it all up and do it again.
Right.
So like, no, don't
fail fast.
Don't fail fast. You don't fail. It's like perfect. Like, you do perfection while you're doing it, right? Like quality the first time.
Yep.
Get it right the first time.
Perfect product you're putting there.
Yes.
Unless you don't get paid.
Right. Yeah. Like, that's what I grew up with. And I came here and you were like, no, we put it out when it's not 100%. And I'm like, no, that sounds horrendously like scary and against everything that I know.
Right.
But what I have, oh my gosh, and it's another F word. It is so freeing.
Ah, yes.
It is so freeing to know that I have like the permission to fail.
Yep.
Because that lets me try so many new things that I never would have even tried, because nope, it's got to be perfect.
Yeah.
And do it fast.
Yep.
okay, well, my type A brain, I can't plan out everything from A to Z.
Yeah.
Like it's got to stop somewhere.
Right.
I
Right.
got to stop at like Q, and then we're going to push it out and see what happens.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's moving from that mentality of, if you're going to do it right all the way,
Yep.
to fail fast.
Yep.
Like put it out, see what works,
Yep.
see what people say, come back, fix it.
Right.
Put it back out again, see what works, what doesn't.
Yep. It's a cycle. I think you sent me something on LinkedIn that kind of illustrated the cycle that you consistently go through, and especially in a tech startup where,
Yes.
I mean, that is the mission, that is the goal. If you're not iterating, I think there's literally a quote I've read, which is iterate or die.
Yes.
Because I mean, it is consistently trying to outperform, build better things than the next person, because, especially nowadays with AI, things coming out so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they're all quality, but people can build things even, much quicker. And so again, I think that still gives us an advantage though, with a lot of the administrative pieces, like we talked about, like just the team aspect, which you can't replicate via AI necessarily, like some of those components. But boy, is it's so important. Like I went to a talk when we were in the Conquer Accelerator at Michigan State, and I think it was Dave Washburn, who's the executive director of the Michigan Research Foundation, and he came and that was my first time hearing that sort of sentiment as well, fail fast. And coming from like a legal background, same thing. It's like, I'm not just hey, supervising attorney, here's my first draft, let's just see if it works, because it's like red line, rip it up. Like, I mean, you would have professors in school, like, you draft it. How many times did I redo drafts and papers? And, that was what I was conditioned to do. And they'd still rip it up. And I think that was a good lesson that I didn't know until later on, that once we got more fully into the startup life, that you can spend a lot of time perfecting everything, making it so good, pretty, like, let's move this icon, let's do this, that, and the other. And it's like, if you're going to release it and they're still going to say, wrong, we don't like it. Or, better yet, they're going to say, we like it, but there's more. Like, there's more that we want from it. And so it's almost not even worth, putting so much polish on it to start. It's, you want to get that validation out there first. And I think that's been the struggle for me too, is that over time, I'm like, okay, we've been at this for 3 years, 4 years. I've went through 3.5 years. I've gone through a few iterations of the product. We've gone through, focusing on local residents to businesses for odd jobs. Now we've done more of a career path for skilled jobs and sort of the surge labor, odd jobs and gigs. And I think through all of that, I'm like, well, we have the experience. We know exactly what the market's going to want. We've talked to enough people. And, I think we consistently do that to ourselves, where, the more and more we get into new relationships, we meet new people, we do new sales, we consistently find things that are, that need to be done, say, on top of it. We've done good to, reset our foundation here so we could, more confidently put in those changes and updates on top of it now, which I'm proud of us to do that. But when we, not going to name names, but once we start working with some of these other, large organizations that we're coming to work with, that's a whole nother game. It's same thing. They're going to have their own asks. And so, like, we're going to come to them with our perfect product, that we're not spending all the time perfecting anyways now, but they're still going to have changes. So I love that you've adapted to that, because I think that was the biggest hurdle at first, when we're like,
1000%.
I'm like, we're going to, what was the word I used to use? It's a P word. We're going to push, we're going to push sales. We're going to push the app, everything. And
like, what are you doing? Because it's too fast.
We're like, we just started, and, but it was even like, I even needed to be coached with that a little bit from some of our advisors, because I was falling back into my legal mindset of like, we're going to perfect this, we're going to do all these things. And it's like, because I'm thinking in my mind, well, we don't want tech debt. We don't want, any sort of like things that we still have to do before we go out there. One of our advisors' friends who you introduced us to the other day, we did a meeting with him. He mentioned that it's better to have debt than dead, is basically what he said. And like, the speed aspect gets you to the market, and that's going to retain the interest from investors, from clients, from associations, from partners, whoever, that you can then do that cycle again, which is, we're going to iterate, we're going to go, we're going to launch, we're going to iterate. And until we get told no, that's probably going to be the cycle, and most companies do that. And so we've not been told no, which has been great. We've only been hearing Yeah, we want more. And
Yeah, it's
when?
yes and.
Yes, and.
Yes,
And
and.
when you bring that to me. So,
Yep.
yeah. The biggest thing for like me about, besides the administrative piece of like, putting procedures in place, all those things,
Mm-hmm.
I think we focused a lot too on like team culture, bringing in the right types of people, really just the facilitation of, an environment that is breeding the right types of the right type of work that we'd like as an
Mm-hmm.
output, then also the right types of like a balance between the work and relationships between the folks within it,
Yep.
so that everybody's kind of aligned in that sense.
Yep.
Where's your like, what's been your experience with that? Because you have come into Stunio and helped to set that culture in a way that's been super helpful to me, because I live an hour away.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only here 2-3 days a week, and
mm-hmm.
so you're helping a lot of the folks in office that you've recruited and hired to run this with us, and you've set a culture with it. So like, how is that? What does culture mean to you, and what's sort of like the benefit to having culture? We talked
Mm-hmm.
a little bit about it today.
We did, yeah. So when I had Hey Ho Asphalts, I came to the realization, and I said this publicly many times, my most important client wasn't my asphalt client. It was my employee.
Wow.
The most important client any business has is their employee, because we can't do anything without our employees.
Right.
Unless you're a solopreneur with AI agents backing you up all the way.
Right.
You still can't do it alone.
Right.
But your employee, what I said to you today in the office was, I spend literally more time with my coworkers than I do with anybody else in my life.
Right.
Right. So, whether you work 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, whatever it is, 6 hours a day. If I think about the time that I spend with my daughter, like an hour in the morning, 5 hours at night, that's 6 hours a day. Well, I spend 8 to 10 hours a day with my coworkers.
Yep. Wow.
So what is more important than making sure that I feel comfortable where I'm at, that I feel like I belong where I'm at, that I feel like I'm supported where I'm at, that I'm in an environment that feels good to be in, an environment that motivates me, that makes me feel comfortable, that if I don't want to sit in this desk chair, I can go sit in a beanbag.
Right.
I can step outside. I can see the sunshine.
Yep.
I can talk, I can joke with my coworkers. I can play music. And that's not what everybody needs, but that's what I need to be successful.
Yeah.
And so it's, that's one of the things that I love about Stunio is it's the try before you buy model for both students and businesses.
Yep.
You both get to try it. You get to try the position, but just as importantly, you get to try the culture both ways.
Yeah.
The business says, is this person someone who I believe will thrive here, who will, be a contributing component to our company?
Yep.
And the student gets to say, is this someplace I want to spend the bulk of my time?
Right.
Are these the people, you can fake anything in an interview.
Right.
I can blow sunshine, for an hour.
Yeah.
And I can do that 3 times. I can make it through 3 rounds before you really see the true Amanda, You
can't interview culture fit.
You can't interview culture fit.
Yeah. Like
you have to see it and feel it and live it. And that's what Stunio lets you do.
Yeah.
And so I think that's part of the reason that we've been so successful is because for so many of these positions, we have Stunio'd it.
Yeah.
We've brought in college students.
Yep.
And we've said, come in for a 2-hour shift, do some data entry for us.
Yep.
They would come in, we would sit side by side. They'd sit at that desk, I'd sit at this desk, and I'd just chat with them. They didn't know this was like an interview.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm getting work out of them. I'm getting product. I don't have to do the data entry. They're doing it.
Right.
And I just get to talk to them and see what are their goals? What do they like doing?
Right.
What's their past experience been like? And I can say, what do you like about working in different places? And it goes both ways. They could see, what is it like to work at Stunio? What would it be like if Amanda was my boss? What would it be like if Adam, when Adam's in the office and he's talking about his crazy ideas and whiteboarding and jumping around the room?
Yeah, throwing balls at the wall. Yeah.
Right. Because for some people, they aren't going to like it. I love our culture.
Yeah. Right.
The people who want to work here, who come to work here, love our culture because it's a fit for all of us. And we all know anybody who's ever had a bad hire, which if you hire at all, you're going to have a bad hire.
Yeah.
One bad hire can break your entire team. And so that's where I think the culture fit is so important. And that's where I think Stunio is such an advantage, because you can test both the potential employee and the potential employer. You can see if it's a culture fit both sides.
Yep. It's a huge thing that Yeah, like you said, you just can't test for on a resume or one interview, and
AI can't tell you if you're a culture
AI
fit.
surely can. Oh my gosh, the amount of videos I'm going to react to that will show these AI agents that are going to, send out thousands of resumes, and who are going to filter based on, literally one of them was like, we're going to find your culture fit based on AI.
Good luck with that.
It's like, no, like that's not what the stats show. And like there's an incredible amount of content we're going to be coming out with not just the podcast, but also a lot of reaction videos, a lot of just interesting tidbits that we're going to share surrounding the context as to why Stunio exists and what we're trying to solve. It's not just about any tiny little issue. For me, like, I started it based off of one premise: I needed money. Like, I just needed fast cash. I was selling my plasma, didn't want to do it anymore. But there's so many other like broad issues that span from needing experience, needing to find the right culture fits, needing to find the right people, to establish talent pipelines, and all the the corresponding feature sets that go with that. There's a lot to cover, and really excited to share more.
You mean we can't do it all in just one podcast?
I wish we could.
Sorry.
If we can't, that's probably a good thing, because we're like, we got a lot of stuff going on, so it makes us feel good. Couple wrap-up questions before we go here. Kind of like, talking about, a lot of times you're the first one here. I'd say for the most part, you're the first one here and you're the last one to leave. And you only rival me in that sense, in terms of like how hard we're working, and your drive for the company, your drive for our mission here. But the drive, like, what is your drive? Like, what is driving you to want to show up, do these extra hours, to even to when, not an Adam thing, but like when you invested and all these things, like, what is making you, why Stunio? Like, why are you here? Like this, that's like the big question.
Yeah. So there's probably two components to that. One is I'm a very curious person. I want to know about everything.
Yep.
Like, when you say lifelong learner, like, that's me. And I want to know random stuff. I want to know everything about everything. So I want to know, why do people in Peru eat guinea pigs for celebrations? We were just talking about today.
Found that out today. Wow.
And I want to know, why wasn't I able to hire people effectively for 5 years?
Yeah.
I'm a smart person. I'm educated. I educate myself. I followed the rules. Why couldn't I hire people successfully?
Yeah. Use the job boards. That's what they say.
Use the job boards. I mean, back in the day, it was like, put it on Craigslist, and people come in and they fill out an application, and then you go through, you interview 10 people. And, like the year before I sold Hey Ho Asphalt, I would be like, okay, so we'll put, an ad out on Indeed, and I'm going to get 300 resumes. Okay, great. And then I have to look through those 300 resumes because I was a small business.
Yeah.
I didn't have an HR director.
Right.
So the owner of the company, is that the best use of her time? To be going through 300 resumes to try to find, a skid operator?
Right.
No. And then I'd set up 10 interviews because I knew that 5 of them were going to be no-shows.
Right.
And then of those 5 that would show up, like, 2 would be late.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, so now I'm down to 3. Okay.
Yeah.
And of the 3, I'm like, well, 1 is just, you showed up, but no. And like, then I'm down to 2 people. Yeah. Well, you know what I would do? I would hire both, because I knew that in 1 or 2 weeks, one of those people was either going to quit or I was going to have to let them go.
Yeah.
So I go from 300 resumes to 1 person who hopefully was going to be a culture fit and stick around for more than 1 season.
Right. Which is just a guess at that point too.
It's a guess.
Yeah.
And how long, that's like bare minimum, that's a month.
Yeah. Bare
minimum, post a job, making someone an offer.
Yeah. We talk about AHs, your
Amanda hours. Yep.
Man, how many Amanda hours you spent on that?
It was a waste.
Yeah.
My passion is solve that process for other business owners and for other hirers. You figured out how to make this work. Like, you figured out, this is what businesses want. This is what students want. You figured out how to connect the two. We've got Tim and David that build it, right? Like, they take your ideas and they turn it into like an app. Like, I don't even understand how that works. I'm not curious enough to figure that out.
Okay, great.
But they turn it into something
that
people can use to solve a problem.
Yeah.
I want to show people, like, let's make your job easier.
Yeah.
Like, let's encourage entrepreneurs to keep starting businesses and growing businesses and building them
Right.
by taking away those pain points of hiring. Like, don't worry about hiring. We have that covered. We
Yep.
can show you how to do it. It's actually really simple.
Right.
Like, why would I not want to be all in on that? Why would I not be like so excited that I'm talking like a crazy lady right now? Like, that's what's exciting, is we can transform the lives of so many people with this one platform.
Yeah, it's not to dog on like people who sell like knives or something, but like, you know, it helps you cut your food, but like, is it changing the like? I love the, you know, the emotional side, I guess you could call it, but more of just like the moral side to it. Like, why, you know, what's the reason, you know, that drive for us? And I think it's so similar for both of us. Like and that's why it works, because you know we're here for the same reason, you know, and it is cool because we do get those stories from students, and you know, we've been getting a lot of new testimonials from our students, and we're going to be showcasing a lot of those soon, about how this has helped them, and similar for businesses and how it's helping them, and even from some of the new partners that we're talking to right now, how they can prospectively see like this would just elevate our talent pipeline to levels that we never had before. Like it's just super impactful. So I love that that's your drive here, and you know why she wakes up and shows up and just runs this team. It's been amazing.
Well, it's a startup, Adam, so it's not the big paycheck.
That's right. That's for sure. She knows it. I know it. We all know it. Yeah. It's the payoff later we're looking for, but definitely the you know, the impact we're making along the way, which has been just so cool. You know,
it's like so I worked for a nonprofit for a number of years too.
Yeah.
And I helped start nonprofits, and I'm on boards of nonprofits.
Right.
Stunio feels like I'm working for a nonprofit that's a for-profit.
It's a good way to put it.
Our mission,
very mission driven. Yeah.
Yes. But we're like a for-profit company, but you get that, I get that satisfaction of I'm making people's lives better. I'm changing the world for the better.
Yeah. We've had that reaction too from like city government one time reacted that way to us. And it's like, we usually don't work with private companies, but we'll work with you because you help students. It's like, huh. It kind of felt like a nonprofit for-profit, like because they work with a nonprofit all day. And so the interesting fact of like who we're serving, why we're serving them, what we're doing, how we're doing it is enough to even make other people feel like this isn't just another company. You know, this is actually like a mission-driven, impactful, you know, opportunity to solve this big hiring problem, the hiring struggles that people all across the country are facing. So it's been cool for us to dive in on that every day, and there's going to be a lot more that we're going to talk about in the near future. So yeah, I mean, any last thoughts as you know, as far as like you know we've met a little bit of Amanda Hayhoe now. You know, we've got some of your background, you know, that she has a few different tattoos that I mentioned, like you know, even like using a Stunio example. It's not just about the resume. Resumes are dead. Let's just say it. Resumes are
dead.
Resumes are dead. So Amanda Hayhoe doesn't have a resume anymore, but like you know, through your experience, like if somebody could see you on a Stunio job for a couple weeks, for a couple hour shift, what would they learn? What would people may not be able to tell about you, or that you would just want to show people about who Amanda is that is not going to show up on that resume?
Geez, that's a tough question. So one of my tattoos literally just says, be a good human. And that is like my mantra through life.
Yeah.
Is be a good human. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be right. Be a good human. And I feel like everything I do in life revolves around that. And sometimes be a good human means take care of yourself.
Right.
Put on, you know, your face mask first so that you can help others.
Sure.
Be a good human means show up, hear what people are saying, have compassion, have energy, have excitement.
Yeah.
You know, so I think be a good human. One of my other tattoos means loving kindness. I've had former employees tell me that one of my greatest faults is that I'm too compassionate. I understood their point, but I also pushed back because I've had like 2%, 1% of my employees tell me I'm too compassionate,
Yep.
the other 99%, that's what they love about me the most.
Right.
I'm compassionate, I'm loyal, I'm caring. Like I truly care about the people I work with.
Yeah.
And I think that's what comes across from me as a person is like I am unapologetically authentic. Like I don't have time in my life to, I'm like so busy. I don't have time to put on airs.
Yeah.
Like, and I am now a menopausal woman where I've lived my life and I'm unapologetic about it.
Yeah.
Like we're going through hormonal changes and it's just kind of like,
yeah,
you like it or you don't.
right.
And so I think unapologetically authentic and compassionate and just like it's the stuff, like you said, it's the stuff that you can't see on paper.
Yep.
Just who are you as a human?
Yep. I've surely got to know that over the last year and way more. It's awesome. Well, I think now that we've given a good taste of who Amanda is and a little bit more about what Stunio is doing, probably wrap it up there. But we're yeah, like I said, we've got a lot more content coming your way regarding hiring struggles, some of the new feature groups that Stunio is releasing, and really just even some other cool entrepreneurs and people that have done it before, like you, and people that we care about. Some of our team members we're going to be interviewing on the podcast as well. Get some more of their insights as well as to what the company is all about, and then we're going to start diving into specific industries and start talking to some of the business owners and managers and HR folks who are going through these problems, and we're going to talk about ways that collaboratively we can hope to fix them. And so, yeah, a lot of cool stuff coming your way, and we're super excited that you tune in. And thank you for watching, and we'll hope to catch you on the next one. Thanks a lot.